Like most car manufacturers, they all have their issues. For Porsche back in the 90s it was a struggle. Nobody wanted the expensive 4-cylinders, and the 911 was not only expensive to buy, but expensive to make. So the solution? Well, make a cheaper car. The end result is this, a 986 Boxster S, and it's a car that plays such a big role for the company and is the reason why they're so massive now. Now, it's not a particularly striking looking car compared to the other Porsches, but it does have a very nice curvy body, as you can see, which does aside nicely to the time period. Having said that though, I'm not particularly the biggest fan of the shape of the lights. They kind of remind me of an oddly shaped AirPod, but nevertheless the car has aged remarkably well. So overall the Boxster ticks all the appearance boxes for Porsche-ness. But does it feel like one on the road? Let's find out.
Simple answer is yes. Now, if you don't know me too well, then you should know that the reason I love Porsche so much is because of how the cars drive. They make you feel so connected with the car and never fail to put a smile on your face. The Boxster's no different. The chassis is fantastic and it's so nice and light through the bends. It's exactly what you want for a sports car. Now, what I love about this car as well is it's not boasting high figures to all its mates in Japan. It's only got 260 horsepower, and that's about the same as a modern day hot hatch, which is absolutely fine. It's by no means slow though. 0 to 60 is 5.7 seconds, which is absolutely fine. The car is meant to be about the way it drives, and that's what it does so well.
Even with that raucous sound you get from the flat 6 engine, you do feel very cocooned and relaxed when sitting in it. The interior is good looking, but is slightly outdated. However, it does have enough standard equipment to keep the average boomer happy for approximately 13 minutes. Some models come with a sat-nav, but this does not, and you can opt in for either a 5-speed Tiptronic or a 6-speed manual, the latter being the correct choice of course.
You also get quite a bit more in here than you think. The seats are a nice leather. You've got some sort of carpet along here, and also a few standard features. You've got radio. You can have an option with a sat-nav, but in this one it doesn't, and an option for heated seats, but again this one doesn't. But you do get radio, you get heating, you get air conditioning, so it is quite basic in here, but it's kind of everything you need for a sports car. I do like this cup holder that comes out into 2, as you can see. Very nice use of space there. There we go. And then we have a glove box here, which has enough space for absolutely nothing at all. And again, general storage, there isn't really anything apart from a little bit down here, which is enough to put a phone in. Not that you'd have one in 2004. And this car also has electric seats, as here you can set different modes, and obviously you can move it about. And lastly, as you can see, the dials here on the centre display are from the 911, but what they did do is leave out the other 2 dials on the side, because obviously they didn't want to make their cheapest car have the flagship dials. Kind of makes sense. So now I'm going to quickly demonstrate how to get the roof up and down. It is as simple as pressing this button. Sounds like a lawnmower. And then there's a clip here, which you do. And then obviously to get it down again, it's exactly the same process, but in reverse. And there we are, we can go and enjoy our nice drive. Now, for a 2-seater car, it's surprisingly generous in terms of sort of storage and boot space. And if we open the front up here, which obviously normally would be where the engine is, as you can see, it's just a boot. And it's actually pretty spacious as well. You can fit a sort of spare tyre there, as you can see, and in fact, a decent sized suitcase. So that is very impressive. Now we can move on to the back boot. We can see when we open it that it's not as big as the front one, and that's obviously because there's an engine right there. But it is overall not bad, because you can see the bags here fit really nicely, and again you can probably get a small sort of suitcase in there for your grand touring adventures. Another thing I love about the car is the throttle response. It's so immediate and it makes the car feel so eager and so thrilled to be driven. It's so rewarding. But what makes it even more rewarding is that noise from the 3.2 litre flat six. One thing that people dislike about this car is the gear ratios being too long, and while it is quite long, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because obviously in a higher gear you're getting better economy. Obviously for a 20-year-old car it's not going to be amazing, but it's also going to be a lot quieter as well. And while people won't really care about that sort of thing, it is quite nice to drive on a daily basis. You know, the steering's quite light and the gearbox has got a nice throw to it, so you know, people will want to drive it every day. Now you might be wondering how much all of this sort of costs, and it's actually not too expensive. You can get a good one for about £7,000 to £10,000, and that's pretty fine. So the Porsche Boxster, the car that saved the company, and is no less of a Porsche than all the others. I really love it.
My conclusion on the Porsche Boxster is that I think it's a great sports car to buy. I have a lot of respect for the car itself, as it's the car that saved the company overall. The design is on the weaker side for Porsche, but the driving experience is not different to what you'd expect. Taking the price of these into consideration, it's definitely worth every penny, and if well maintained, it's pretty reliable too.
So there we are, that is the Porsche Boxster S review. Hopefully you did enjoy this, and if you did, make sure you subscribe and follow us on all social medias. We'll see you next time.